Hello everyone. This story is part of a series titled The Seattle Jijinas. My college experience was more of a lesson in life than learning a skill or preparing for a trade. For our friendship to grow, Daniel and I each had to give something up. But we were not aware of this. We were not conscious of it. So the universe sent us some help. As always, the decision to accept the help is a choice each of us have to make. Welcome to Storytime with Q Matters. My name is Kayo Jijina. This is part 1 of my story, All God's Children. I hope you enjoy it. Winter of 1980. Mom gave birth to a baby boy. For the purposes of this story, we will call him Little Bro. There was a 20-year difference between the two of us. Mom had wanted to name him Kambiz or Zubin, both fine names if you were living in Iran or observed the culture. So Sister and I pushed back. We suggested something a little more mainstream. Mom loved her soap operas. There was one called Ryan's Hope. Many years later, Little Bro thanked us for interceding on his behalf. Winter quarter, Northgate State. In addition to the French Fry Club, I would also spend time with my high school buddy Daniel and his friends. Sometimes the two groups would hang out in the common room and commingle. Other times, Daniel's group hung out in the cafeteria. Kevin was one of Daniel's circle of friends. The most striking feature about Kevin was his fiery red hair and trimmed beard. Kevin wore cowboy boots at a time when most people in Seattle did not. Kevin reminded me of a friendly version of the villain Claudius from Shakespeare's Hamlet. Kevin, Chris, and I were gathered in the common room talking. Kevin mentioned there was a dance at a church up on Capitol Hill in a couple of weeks. They were going. Would I like to join them? I thought about it and said sure. 1980s and the Seattle Capitol Hill area should have given me a hint something was up. Later that evening, Daniel stopped by the house. I'd asked him to come meet my baby brother. After visiting with Little Bro, Daniel was anxious to have a talk. We went downstairs to my room. It took about 5 minutes of him humming and hawing, sidestepping the topic, before Daniel finally got to the point. "I'm gay," he said. The words "I'm gay" caught me by surprise. My intuition might have tried to tell me something, but I never quite tuned into it. "After I learned you were coming to the dance," said Daniel, "I had to tell you. I couldn't put it off any longer. The dance is a social gathering for gays and lesbians. My boyfriend will be there. I would like you to meet him. His name is Mike, and he's a dentist." I sat quietly as all types of thoughts ran through my head. This was the early 1980s, and there was still a stigma associated with being gay. People would openly gay bash by making jokes. Some of the lower life forms who attended Northgate State would brag about walking through Volunteer Park in Capitol Hill at night, looking for gay prostitutes or couples to chase off. Sometimes they would throw rocks and jeer at them. I didn't have the courage to say anything. Instead, I remained silent. I remembered a conversation Daniel and I had about his body having an extra Y chromosome. He tried to explain how it made him different. I didn't fully understand it. After a few moments of quiet, Daniel chimed in. "I'm going to drop Kevin as a friend," he said. The silence in the room made his words echo in my ears. I was confused, and under these circumstances, I found it best not to say anything. "I'm going to need some time to work through all my feelings on this," I said plainly. "How about if we talked early next week?" Saturday, Dad, brother, and I worked on the house on 7533 Roosevelt Way, Northeast. Hammering nails into 2x4s served as great therapy. There was something about repetitive, mindless work that engaged my brain and allowed the soul to be heard. Soul-searching might be a better word. By Sunday, I had made peace with all the voices in my head. Using my dad's words, I remember thinking, "The hell with it." Daniel has been my friend for too long. He is who he is, and I'll support him just as he has done for me. In retrospect, Kevin had done both of us a favor. This step had to be taken for a true friendship to grow. The following weekend, I drove to the Capitol Hill Church, where the dance was being held. My heart was beating as I parked. It took 5 minutes to summon up the courage before I could open the door and get out. I had no idea what to expect. Finding the entrance to the church proved to be a greater challenge than I had expected, as I fumbled around in the dark. For some reason, I had expected the main doors to be open. Instead, I had to walk around back until I found a dimly lit light over a doorway. As I opened the door, I heard the sound of the village people playing, making its way up the staircase as if I had just uncorked a bottle. Inside, it was well lit. As I followed the wooden staircase down, stressing under my footsteps, the music stopped, and I had nothing to trace. After reaching the lower landing, I saw 3 doors. I grabbed the knob closest to me, turned it, and opened it. It was one of those old-style glass doorknobs, and it wiggled from years of use. Inside, I found a group sitting on metal folding chairs in a circle. They turned around and looked at me. I had stumbled into an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in progress. I apologized for the intrusion and shut the door. I tried the second door. It was locked. No choice left but to try the third door. Either this was it, or I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I turned the knob, opened the door, and walked in. The room was dimly lit. It looked like someone had attempted decorations to make the place feel festive. Within seconds, the lyrics to Donna Summer's Last Dance made its way through the 2 black towering speakers on the other side of the room. I waited for my eyes to adjust when there came a shout. "Hey, Kayo!" I caught sight of Daniel and breathed a sigh of relief. Finding the place had not been easy. I followed him into the kitchen where I hung up my jacket and to get out of the noise. I met his boyfriend Mike. Now I understood why Daniel had been trying to grow a mustache. Shortly after the introduction, Cricket came up and asked me to dance. She must have felt my awkwardness. Cricket was part of Daniel's circle of friends. She was a lesbian, 15 years old, and attended North Seattle Community College because public schools just didn't work for her. I had met her before, but knew nothing about her personal life. Eventually, Kevin and a friend, Sherry, showed up. I learned Kevin was bisexual and Sherry a lesbian. I met Cricket's mom, who was straight, and supported her daughter by being there. After an hour of socializing, I was ready to leave. Everyone was really nice. I was glad I had made the effort to step out of my comfort zone, and thankful no one but Cricket had asked me to dance. Over the course of the evening, the difference between gay and non-gay began to dissolve. I saw everyone as people. It was no longer them but us. I saw us as part of a larger family. At the same time, going so far out of my comfort zone in such a short time required some grounding, something familiar before I returned home. I drove to the Burger King in Ballard, where I had worked over the summer. Walked up to the counter, ordered a strawberry milkshake, sat down, and drank it, slowly. As the mind tangoed.